Folks, how are we doing today? Okay, so today what I wanted to talk about is another amazing ETF. It is a NASDAQ 100 ETF, and it might be the top dog in the race, but it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. It is very new, and the ETF is TDAQ, guys. TDAQ by Tap Alpha. We've briefly talked about it in the past, but now that it's had one of its first distributions, we can look at it in more depth. Let's jump into TDAQ. All right, guys. First and foremost, as per usual, guys, if you want access to the Patreon that I have, please see the link below in the description. You'll get access to all the calculators that I have, and you get to contribute to the community. And I really would appreciate your support. So if you'd like to, please jump over to the Patreon and sign up for the memberships. All right. So let's jump over to Tap Alpha's TDAQ, ticker symbol TDAQ, guys. All right. And with TDAQ, it has quite intriguing metrics that we can look at. And while it is a newer asset, it is quite interesting by their structure. And I'll jump off and start off by saying this is a zero DTE product. So zero days to expiry options contracts is what their structure is. And with that, they get a lot of maneuverability to adjust and gain premiums every single day and learn from mistakes. And they get 20 to 30 chances, really 22 business day chances a month to seek premiums and to capitalize on market upswings. All right. So with their product, it's very new. So $34 million in assets under management. The expense ratio is 0.68%. So pretty much in line with the other ones. But the key benefit in what I've seen here as it relates to zero DTE is the benefit of potentially more yield. And with that, you can see that their expected trailing 12-month dividend, their distribution, is 17.41%. That is probably one of the largest QQQ or NASDAQ 100 yields that I've seen, distribution rates I've seen from a non-levered QQQ covered call fund. So they're really from a distribution rate standpoint, they certainly have a very, very attractive offer. And some of the things that they aim to do is they aim to, of course, gain exposure to the underlying asset, which is the NASDAQ 100, and gain growth, right? I don't think that this fund is solely looking to generate income, but they are looking for your assets to grow. Certainly a component is going to be income generation. Maximize time decay by writing calls on a daily basis. So what they say is reduce time risk daily expiration of options, minimizes the prolonged market exposure by seeking to reduce unfavorable shifts in underlying security. So essentially they have more flexibility, and that's their last point, more flexibility, more maneuverability with the zero DTE structure. And that also can generate a lot more income for you when you're on zero DTE, sourcing income every single day. All right, but how does this stack up? How does this product stack up against some of the other top dogs like QQQI, GPIC, JEPQ, KQQQ from Curve? How does it stack up against the rest? Let's look at it from a price return standpoint. All right, so from a price return standpoint over the past month, TDAQ 2% gain, QQQI 1.3%, KQQQ 1.23%, GPIC 2%, JEPQ 2.66%. All right, let's look at the total return over the past month. So TDAQ actually has the strongest total return of any of these QQQ funds over the past month, with 3.6% over the past month. Whereas the next strongest is actually JEPQ with 3.5% and GPIC with 3%. So TDAQ actually has the strongest 1 month total return. But let's look at its return since inception and compare it against the others. All right, guys. So we are here at Testfolio, and we're going to compare TDAQ to QQQI, to GPIC, to KQQ, to JEPQ. All right. And we can see here, guys, that the strongest performer in the time period of September 4th to November 11th is actually TDAQ at 8.7% cumulative return since that standpoint, since that timing. So if you would invest $100K, you would have made $8,700. All right. Next up, actually, it's surprising to see QQQI, which is weakest on this list. Now, that could be about like their distribution rate and like the timing of their distribution might bring down the NAV a bit, but QQQI is still really strong for the past years. This is a very short time period, but it is really interesting to see that in a short time period, TDAC actually has the strongest total return. There's something to be said about that, right? Um, you know, I do like their simplicity. They just own the Nasdaq 100 and then write calls against the index. And so yeah, they're creating that covered call structure, but they don't have to manage the full gamut of all the holdings. They just own the underlying asset of QQQ, and maybe there's less tax efficiencies in doing so. But I do value the simplicity and ease of use with just owning QQQ instead of having all 100 stocks individually and having to rebalance those. And so, guys, that is it. I just wanted to know if you guys are invested in TDAC, please let me know in the comments below. I think in the short run, they have done really, really strong. What a high distribution rate. And they have strong price return in tandem with a potential 17% trailing 12-month distribution rate. Let me know in the comments if you guys are invested in TDAC. This isn't financial advice, but just, of course, looking at these products on a daily basis. Sub to the channel. All the best, guys, and cheers.